of bread. Now, the breaking of bread, it's an ordinance. It's not a sacrament. So what do I mean by that? Is an ordinance is a practice that symbolizes something else. It's not a sacrament, which is something that you do to receive grace or something that makes you more acceptable in the sight of the Lord. We go to John 6, and this is where Jesus talks about eating my flesh and drinking my blood. And this is obviously a passage which is hotly disputed amongst Catholics because they believe in Transubstantiation, which is when the bread and the cup is blessed and broken, it actually turns into the physical flesh and physical blood of Jesus Christ. Now, we don't believe this because in John 6, it says here, many therefore of his disciples, when they heard this, said, "This is a hard saying, who can hear it?" So they're saying this is hard because Jesus has just told them to eat his flesh and drink his blood. When in verse 61, Jesus says, "Doth this offend you?" Verse 62, "What, and if ye shall see the Son of Man ascend up where he was before? It is the Spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit, and they are life." Now you can't detach this from the fact that Jesus just said in the previous passages that Jesus said to eat of his flesh, and then he says, "The flesh profiteth nothing." Because remember he says, you need to eat my flesh and drink my blood, otherwise you have no life in you. But then he says here that it is the Spirit that quickeneth, and quickeneth means makes alive. The flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. So how do we have the life that Jesus is talking about? Well, we believe on his word. We have his word abiding in us, not actually eating his flesh and his blood. And Alex brought up a good point in his sermon, which I'll share with you again today. But in Matthew 26 verse 28, where Jesus is actually breaking the bread and drinking of the cup, he says here, "For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom." So he had already blessed, he had already broken, he took of the cup saying, "This is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins." But then when he refers to the drink that's actually in the cup, he says, "But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine." Now, if it turned into his blood, why wouldn't he say, "I will not drink henceforth of this blood until I drink it anew with you in my Father's kingdom"? No, because it was still wine. It was symbolic.